The meeting is for Monday, I'm sorry, I lied. The meeting's for Monday, April 20th, 2020. It's a 7 p.m. regular meeting of the P&Z. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the March 16th meeting that Mr. Klein ran.
I make a motion that the minutes of the March 16th, 2020 meeting of the P&Z be approved.
Do we have a I'm sorry, Rashad, before that, just a small typo. First paragraph, Commissioner Pease, it should be Commissioner Klein. Commissioner Klein called for a vote. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Hold on one second. I guess just noted.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward typo. It's just a typo. Okay. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr.
Okay.
Pease, give me 1 second. I'm being told that this isn't being streamed.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Moss, did you make the motion to approve?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just jotting it down so when I review the minutes next time, I can make sure.
Hey, can you hear me? Type in the title at the right side.
Do you see the screen?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, there's a title on the right side. Move your mouse all the way to the right under title and type in meeting, whatever the meeting's called, and then hit go live at the very bottom, and that'll start the live stream.
Or where are we supposed to type it in?
Oh, this is for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
was going to say this must be for Rashad, I'm sure. Rashad, you're the moderator, correct?
Yeah, they got me doing a little bit of everything right now.
Yeah.
Just hit yes, and I'll remotely control your screen and do it real quick. I don't know if it'll let me.
Yeah, it's not, the go live is grayed out, Joseph.
Yeah, you'll have to on Zoom. Let's open up Zoom again. I can't see it from remote controlling, so I'm going to give up remote control. On Zoom, you'll have to click on Stream to Facebook again. So open up Zoom, hit Stream to Facebook, and then add the title.
Okay, it's already saying it's live on Facebook.
I don't think it is. Just cancel that and then start a new one. Click live on Facebook, and this time enter in the title and hit send. I'm also recording the meeting if you want me to just post it after.
We may have to do that because.
But if you end the stream and then hit stream again, this time when it pops up, I can't see your Zoom screen from here.
This is crazy. In the stream.
Yeah, so in the Zoom where the menu bar is at the bottom, there's probably a more button.
Yes, I'm looking at that.
And then there should be a live on Facebook button.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click that, hit choose the correct timeline before you hit next. Share on your timeline, choose Sunnyvale. Okay, hit next. And when this is finished loading, you have to enter in a title. So don't go off this page yet. enter in a title. And then once you enter in a title, you should be able to go live now. Okay. It's about to be live.
I think it's already been live. Oh my goodness.
Okay, it's definitely live now.
Live on Facebook.
All right. And I'm sharing my screen. All right. Commissioner, I think we're good to go. Mr. Peace.
Okay, great. Can everyone, by show of hands, we have a motion for approval of minutes. We have a second. By show of hands, can we get a vote?
Show of hands here, but
I think you can use the raise hand. It may be easier.
where's that?
If you want to raise your hand on your screen, it's okay too, I guess. It looks like it's unanimous. Is there any not in favor of approval of minutes? Perfect. Seems like Rashad, it looks like it's unanimous.
Yes, sir.
So moving on to item number 1, that's underneath tab 2. For sake of brevity here, it looks like it's, I'll state the item and then we'll kind of move on. Discuss and consider and act upon a request by William Whitehurst to approve the Whitehurst 533 Larkin Edition, a minor plat at or about 533 Larkin Road. Again, that's for the commissioners, that's tab 2 here. Rashad, are you doing this one?
Yes. The applicant is the owner of undeveloped property located at 533 Larkin Road. The tract of land is approximately 15 acres, and the property owner wants to subdivide the tract into 3 residential lots. That will be approximately 5 acres in size. The lots will have direct access to Larkin Road. There is a access agreement from the city of Dallas, noting the fact that there is a parcel of land that separates these properties from Larkin Road. We've had this matter with some property that the applicant actually owns to the west as well, and he received access agreement from the city of Dallas. He has also received that access agreement from the city of Dallas for these properties as well. All other details have been addressed.
Great, thank you, Rashad. Does the applicant want to speak? Mr. Whitehurst? You just have to unmute yourself, sir. Mr. Whitehurst, you just have to hit the unmute button. I wonder if I can unmute myself.
And
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was your question?
I'm sorry, sir. If you would like to, you don't have to speak, but if you'd like to speak, you can go ahead and speak and for this topic. If you do decide to speak, just state your name and address for the record.
William Whitehurst, 529 Larkin Road.
Do you have anything to say in regards to this application?
No, sir, I do not.
Great. I'd like to go ahead and, Rashad, do we need to open the public meeting for this?
No, this is just a minor plat.
Okay.
Welcome to have comments though.
Great. Before I open for comments, commissioners, anything to add? Any questions from Mr. Whitehurst or staff?
No questions here.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and open for comments from the attendees. If any of the attendees have any comments, please go ahead and raise your hand or. Hearing no comments, I'll go ahead and close the public meeting. I'd like to call for a motion.
I'll move to approve the request as submitted.
I'll second. This is Don Klein, seconds.
Great, I have a motion by Commissioner James, second by Mr. Klein. All in favor? It looks like we have a unanimous. Is there anyone opposed on the commission? Just for sake of seeing none, for the record, Commissioner Okafor and Ms. Burton also raised their hand. Great, moving along. Item number 2 on the agenda is under tab 3, discuss and consider and act upon a request by Drew Donsky, PE, to approve a replat for Long Creek Addition, lot 4R and 8 at or about 480 US Highway 80. Rashad?
This replat concerns one lot of the Long Creek Crossing master plan development. The applicant has submitted a replat in order to subdivide the lot into 2 lots. Lot 4 is being subdivided into lot 4R and lot 8 in order to create a lot for potential end user. Official details of the potential business has not been provided at this time. Of course, a site plan will be required before any construction. This replat falls in line with the overall concept plan for the development, which is shown in their packet. Staff has no additional comments.
Great, thank you, Rashad. Commission, any questions for Rashad?
So I guess this dividing lot 4 into 2 lots is simply just to bring in another business, I would presume. Would that be correct, Rashad?
That is correct. Again, we haven't had any final information on who that end user will be, but I suspect that they're spending the money to do this, so we will be seeing somebody here shortly.
Okay. It's my only question or comment.
Any other comments for Rashad?
No comments?
No.
All right.
I think we lost the chairman.
I think we did. I think he froze up. And then
Oh, there he is. Mr. Peace, I think you're on mute. I got you.
Sorry about that. So Rashad, do you know if the applicant's here or not?
I do not see him in attendance. With this application, I will note we'll have to go to council. So this won't be the last bite at the application. And again, I don't see any issue with this. It is what was proposed for the development.
It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so here, I'm gonna go ahead and open the public meeting for any comments. Hearing no comments, I'll go ahead and close the public meeting. I'll entertain a motion from one of the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that to make a motion to approve the replat of the Long Creek Addition, Lot 4, R and 8 at or about 480 US Highway 80.
Great, thank you.
I'll second that.
Great, I have a motion, a second. All in favor? Perfect. Anyone opposed? Wonderful. Okay, moving right along. Item number 4 will be underneath tab 4 in your books. It's to discuss and consider and act upon a request by Todd Winter, PE, to approve a final plat for Stony Creek 5B -3 addition of north of 216 Madison Court. So this is a Stony Creek. Go ahead, Rashad.
As you noted, the applicant is requesting a final approval of Stony Creek Phase 5B, Section 3. This development was done in 3 sections. The original preliminary plat was approved back in 2017. Now that the applicant has completed construction of Phase 3 of Phase 5B, the applicant would like to finalize the final plat. I will note that this is being submitted under the current regulations for the Unified Development Ordinance, which allow for the final plat to be approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission only. The applicant is subject to payment of traffic mitigation fees, which they're aware of, and the trail escrow fee, which they're aware of. Both fees will be required at the submittal of the final plat for recording. Pretty much all comments have been addressed. Town engineer has reviewed the site. No pending punch list items for the development. The only thing pending is this plat itself.
Great. Thank you, Rashad. Questions for Rashad from the commission? Rashad, I have one question. As you can see from the diagram, if you look on the final plat, there's a pedestrian access easement at the top of the cul-de-sac.
Yes, sir.
I think you probably know where I'm going with this whole thing.
Yeah. At town council approval, there were several variations and requirements asked of the developer during the concept plan approval. The idea was those trails were going to allow for a connection to whatever is developed north of the location. Of course, right now they go to nowhere. I don't know the end goal of the plans. You know, staff really wasn't involved in the location of those trails, the connections there. But of course, the applicant was trying to address those concerns as far as access. I think the idea is eventually to have a trail in between this phase and the next phase that will tie in and provide access to school, the SISD. But again, can't necessarily say when that will happen.
Does the applicant own that land north of this section?
No, that is still owned by the mortgagee, I believe, Graham Mortgage. They purchased the property from the original developer when they went, I guess, bankrupt.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Jackson? I see Mr. Winter is here. Sir, do you want to speak? If so, can you please state your name and address for the record?
I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. This is Brian Honeycutt. I'm with Green Brick Partners, the developer. I don't know if Todd Winters is on, but I'm representing this phase.
Do you have anything you want to add to Mr. Jackson's?
No, you know, we where the purpose of this for the trail is just, to provide connectivity to future phases. And, it's kind of unknown how that will all play out, but there's, the trail is there, and it's there for the future subdivision to the north of us, which we, like he said, do not own, but, they can hopefully be able to figure out a good way to tie onto it and create a connection point there.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Any questions for the applicant? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and open the public meeting. Does any of the public want to address this concept? I guess this is a final plat.
Yeah, this is Don. I looked through the previous hearings on this particular development. This has gone through from January 2017 through about 4 different meetings. And I know there's much interest in this development from the residents, and I believe this adheres to exactly what everybody agreed to. There are really no changes on this from the initial. So, yeah, anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I agree, Don. It seems like it's kind of pretty straightforward. Well, hearing no other comments, I'll entertain a motion for item number 4 of our packet.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve a final plat of the Stony Creek Phase 5B3 addition north of 216 Madison Court.
Great, thanks, Don. No, that was Mr. Moss, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'll second this, Don.
Okay, Don second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Is there anyone opposed? Great. It looks like it's Rashad. It looks like it's unanimous as well.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for representing Mr. Winter. Okay, so moving along to item number 5. This is a public hearing to consider and act upon request by Eric Braham to approve ordinance 20-06, ordinance amending the town's UDO duly passed. It sounds like to add contractor shop and contractor storage yard classifications to the local retail zoning districts, specifically section 3.04.03 use chart. And it sounds like this was a table from last meeting. That's
Yes, sir. This was a request from the Planning and Zoning Commission to investigate whether or not this type of amendment could be specifically implemented for just structures of a certain date or age. I've gotten some interpretation or determination from our legal staff, and what they have suggested is what they call a temporary use agreement. That is something that's outside of really zoning itself. It is a contract between the town council and the property owner or the business. Specific requirements and conditions can be noted in those agreements. Our legal staff, Brenda McDonald, noted that she has done this with a couple of businesses in Rockwall, where there are situations where, like, you have a fireworks stand that was somewhere located in a retail area that, of course, doesn't necessarily fit in anymore, but they do a legal agreement with them in the town, and there are stipulations that are put in place that can go above and beyond what would be normally allowed by our zoning requirements. And she overall said that this text amendment, she would not recommend a text amendment. She would recommend that temporary use agreement instead. Of course, the applicant has to be willing to do that as well, since it is a contract, and council has to be willing. That would be something that would be directly taken to council once the draft agreement was agreed upon between the legal staff, myself, and of course the applicant. We are currently we plan on reaching out to council to see if they'd be open to that. There are concerns whether or not that would be kind of circumventing our zoning ordinance process. But again, our legal staff says that this is something that's been done before in other cities. So we're going to try that approach.
So is the applicant withdrawing their request?
No, what Mayor Fopp, who's working on behalf of Eric Brim, what he would like to do is table this request again until this agreement is reviewed and taken to council, if it is taken to council, and see if that's the approach that is the best approach to approve this, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
So instead of denying it or withdrawing it, if it needs to come back, we'll just bring it back to P&Z. But I think the temporary use agreement would probably be the best approach for the town and for the applicant.
Rashad, my only question is it seems like it's been on the agenda twice, and I'm not sure, a normal meeting would require people to show up for this thing, and they're asking it to be tabled, to respect the people, that kind of want to deal with these things, their time and effort.
Understand. That was just the request that was made by the applicant to table it.
Sure, and I understand. And given that these are virtual meetings, I guess it doesn't really require much besides a computer or something like that, or to log in, which I didn't even discuss. How does someone with no technology access this stuff?
Yeah, well, we've posted it on, and it's being streamed, but yes, it's not that legally, we wouldn't be doing this if our legal staff didn't say it wasn't.
Okay.
Can we table this indefinitely?
I don't think we can table it indefinitely. I think we just have to table for another month.
I think that would suffice. I'm trying to get that on the council agenda as soon as possible. So I would say table it to the next month's meeting.
If the commissioner doesn't, no one on the commission minds, I'd like to go ahead and open up the public meeting to get whoever's here on the record, at least for the sake of that person or the people that are here to speak on this topic. I feel like that's.
I've got a question for Rashad real quick.
Okay.
Rashad, you said that our attorney did not recommend this as it is right now. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he called it a text amendment request?
Yes.
Yeah.
The way she described it is she saw this as an SUD is essentially saying you would allow that use to be in that local retail zoning district, even though, yes, you have to get the approval for the SUD. If someone met those conditions, situational conditions, there's nothing that could necessarily say that you can't allow it.
Yeah. For any other business along that area, right?
Right.
Okay.
I typically look at it as extremes. So if it was SUD and it was going to cause a lot of noise and chaos and traffic, then certainly you could deny it. But if there's some minor issues with the proposal, like just needing to put up landscaping or something like that, then there could be some issues.
Given that the town's council has suggested that we don't want to do a text amendment, and then the inclination of the commission at the last meeting to vote this down, but we decided to table it anyway, is it better for us just to go ahead and take a vote on it now?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think I think the fairest thing to do here, and this is just my thought, but I'll entertain any motion, is to get the public record, the people here that want to speak, get them on the record, table it for one more month, assuming that the I mean, this sounds like a new thing, a new legal matter, and if we can get people, if we can bring the city and this person together to write some sort of deal, that would be great. I think that'd be the fairest thing to do. Tabling it doesn't do anything more for us besides cause attendees to be in, and things may be different next. If you guys are willing to do that, I don't mind. Thoughts from the commissioners?
Well, I think in our last meeting, we discussed the whole purpose of this is a request to add contractor shop and contractor storage yard as into local retail. And there was some discussion on that. And I think what we end up doing was tabling it at the request of the applicant. And I think we should go ahead and do that again. This granting temporary use agreement is not the same as approving contractor shop and contractor storage yard for local retail, correct? This is just a temporary use agreement, since this is kind of a grandfathered in thing, right? I mean, something that exists.
It seems like it's a separate deal between the city and the one client, and then that's it.
Correct. And our legal attorney has just logged in. Hello, Brenda.
Good evening. I apologize. I had a city council meeting this evening that went way longer than I expected. But I can give you, I'm not sure, Rashad, how much you've talked to them about the concept of an interim use agreement.
I have. I gave him the background. I'm sure you probably could explain it in better detail.
But
All right.
I think we have enough detail. It sounds like they want us. The applicant wants us to table, for the sake of the P&Z. They want us to table this and allow something to be worked out between the city and the applicant separately outside of the zoning.
Right. I want to be clear, though, that there's a distinction between a non-conforming use that gets the grandfather rights and a use that doesn't have a right to be there. So this business opened without a certificate of occupancy. And so there is a difference, because we can handle non-conforming uses in a different way. This is so that, one, you don't change your zoning ordinance to apply across the board in this situation, but two, it is a contractual agreement between the business operator and the city, the town. And there can be conditions in that contract that ensure that this use, one, is not permanent, two, operates in a way that it doesn't impact adjacent properties negatively, and three, everyone's on the same page about when it needs to go away.
Understand. Does anyone have any questions for either Mr. Jackson or Ms. McDonald about this? If not, what I'd like to do is go ahead and open the public meeting, see if there's anyone who wants to speak on this, and then we'll close the public meeting and then call for a motion. Okay, hearing no one, let me open the public meeting. Is there anyone from the public, any attendees that wants to speak on this matter? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public meeting. Commission, any thoughts or concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Now, for the motion to table, we would motion to table in order so that a temporary use agreement, discussion of a temporary use agreement can be done between the town council and our attorneys.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure how much that should be included in the minutes.
Yeah, should that?
I mean, my thought would be is for the, I mean, my thought, again, I'm not one of the 9 lawyers on here, but it seems like my thought would be is for us, it's very simple, is we should stay out of this because this is for between the client and the elected officials of the city with their lawyer, with the lawyer, I think, and it doesn't really involve us. Is that, Brenda, is that safe to say, or?
Yes, I mean, this is an agreement that the council would approve. If you table it though, Rashad, do you want it to a specific date so we don't have to renotice? And so that there's motivation to the applicant to sort of move through this process?
I would recommend tabling it to the next meeting date, which I believe is May 18th.
With the idea that the PNC, I mean, again, I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth, but this has been plenty of time now to kind of sort through this. And I think that with the respect to the people that are involved in the city, they, you know, they've given plenty of notice.
Yeah, I agree.
So Don, yeah, it's essentially tabling for another month. But if someone wants to make a motion, please include that in their motion to table to the next meeting with the date that, you know, that being said.
Okay, this is Don. I'll make a motion that the agenda item to consider request by Eric Brenham to approve ordinance 2006 and ordinance amending the town Unified Development Ordinance duly passed by the town council. It's amended time to time. I recommend that we table this to the May 18th meeting.
Great, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Who was the second?
I think.
Mr. Childers?
Yeah.
All right.
Is anyone opposed? Josh?
I'm opposed.
I'm
Anyone
opposed.
else?
I'm opposed.
Commissioner James, I'm sorry, Commissioner Golder and Commissioner Sadler, Rashad, that's 2 opposed.
Ms.
Okay.
McDonald,
Yes,
may I ask you a question since you're here with us?
sure, of course.
What's our ability to table these types of applications? My belief, and it may be faulty, is that I recall that we were only able to table once, and I thought that had come up in a meeting before.
Unless that's something unique to Sunnyvale, it's definitely not a statutory requirement.
Okay.
It's not uncommon for development items to be tabled more than once.
Thank you.
Sure.
Josh, you still good with your nay vote?
Am I allowed to change?
Well, I don't really care.
If I can change, I'll change to abstain, and the only reason is because I crashed out on when I was hearing the deliberation. But I want to say, and Chairman Pease, please correct me if I'm wrong. I thought we had at least a policy, or maybe Commissioner Jackson, that we only table things once. But maybe I'm just misremembering that.
No, we went through that with the I forget the name of this, the
The
state.
Lupton Farms property.
Exactly. Went through the Lupton Farms property. We tabled it, and then we're going to go table it again, but they didn't want to. They would rather have us vote, and then we declined it.
Yeah, but I thought there was something that maybe a couple of years back that we said, and maybe it was just a policy, or maybe I'm just misremembering it, that we could only table once.
No, I think we've tabled things at the request of the applicant. We've tabled things. I don't think it really benefits anyone, because it's really instead of giving them a no vote, it's really giving them, so.
Ms. McDonald, are we able to table without the request of the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, well then I'll change it to you. I'll change it to yes.
Okay, Rashad, Mr. Sandler has 3 different votes, I think.
I think we can change it to a yes.
Okay, thank you. My apologies.
And Josh, I understand we tabled it last month for this purpose, and I don't know that it was, anyway, I thought this would have been resolved then, and here we're doing it again. So
I agree.
I don't know to
think
mention
that's-
baseball, 3 strikes and you're out, but
I agree.
let's
I
get
think
this
that's
done next time. Yeah.
I'll
I agree.
take-
I think it's unfortunate.
Let me take the blame for this one, because I didn't come up with the concept of using the interim use agreement here in this situation until early last week. So I think this one is on me if you will allow.
Well, considering we're having meetings online now with everything going on over the last month or two, yeah, I can understand.
Yeah, and that's why I think we should give them.
Extraordinary times, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, great. So it sounds like we have that agenda item taken care of. Rashad, you get the vote on that properly?
Yes, I have all in favor and Mr. Golder opposed.
Correct. Unless Mr. Golder wants to change. Mr. Golder, do you?
I'm sticking.
Okay, I figured that. So that being said, there's no more agenda items. So if I could have a motion for adjournment, that'd be great.
Mr. Commissioner, this is Don. I make a motion that the today's planning and zoning meeting, since there's no more business, be adjourned.
Don, thank you.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor? Great. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for doing this. I know it's not the easiest way to do. And Rashad, I know like IT stuff and our. Please thank our IT guy. Like, you know, it's not the easiest thing, but I think this is a show of American resolve, democracy in action.
I agree.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
I'm here.
night.
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Aye.